You ever have a project that you're all excited about, and then it gets put off for this and then put off for that and then continues to sit? Well, unfortunately, I have the same situation. And this is my project that's been sitting for a long time. I've owned this tractor for 9 years. And well, you see how far I've gotten with it. It seems like every time I want to work on it, something else comes up. Well, no, nothing else is coming up. It's time to get this thing going. I want to get it running. I want to be able to tool around with it a bit. I've always loved old Sears. This is a 1966 Sears Suburban 10 horse. Does not have the original engine. Does not have the original tires. But there was a reason for that, because I was planning on doing some stuff with this. And then life happened, and then other stuff happened, and then other projects came up, and then here we are. So, let's get into this thing. Let's get this thing fixed up, get it running, get it driving, do some fun stuff with it. My name's Jeremy. Welcome to HP Small Engine. My goodness. Weather did not do this thing well. Oh. Well, to start, let's take a little walk around. To start with, these tires right here, obviously that one's shot. I have another one right up here. These are off of an Allis-Chalmers 410. Now, the original wheels that came on this, if you can see from the thumbnail, there wasn't much left. So I took those off and tossed them in the scrap pile. These ones actually have bearings. Here, let me show you the inside of this. Here's a bearing race. These have actual bearings and lock collars like a trailer. When I first started working on this, I forgot, if nobody knows, these old Sears, the bolts for the center hub on these are left-hand thread. I figured out after I went ugga-dugga once and then broke the head of the bolt off. So I ended up fixing that. But anyways, I actually got this on trade. It had the Tecumseh in it when I got it, but it was tighter than a drum. And this, I've had this, like I said, for 9 years, and I didn't know a whole lot about how to get engines freed up at the time, so I just tossed the engine out. This is a Briggs & Stratton. I don't remember what horsepower it is. It's out of an Allis-Chalmers. I'll try to find the number on it and see if I can refresh my memory on the horsepower, but besides that, these came with 3-bolt hubs. As you see, I have 5-bolt hubs with studs and lug nuts. I actually made my own. I was going to set this tractor up to pull, and then decided against that because I didn't have enough money or the time to work on it, so I just let it sit, unfortunately. These tires are off a newer Sears because the original ones were only about this wide. I still have, somewhere I have one original tire, but both of them are just completely destroyed. They had chains on them. They were also just junk. As you can tell, the steering wheel is missing. When I first got it, it had the steering hub with one piece of the steering wheel sticking out. I have a steering wheel sitting somewhere. I don't remember where I put it. I'm going to make it fit on there. It's not the correct size, but I'll make it work. I drained the rear end oil out of this originally to change it 7 years ago. It still doesn't have any oil in it, so whoops. My goal for today, I have a starter generator sitting somewhere over there in a pile right behind my washer stuff or whatever. I want to get it mounted, get the belt for it. I want to try to see if I can make this make noise today. If I can make it make noise, then I'll start continuing or finishing up getting what done to this I want to. Now, the process of making it make noise, okay, I have a brand new carburetor for it because I'm guarantee this thing is, I don't even know, I don't even want to ask how bad that is on the inside. I've had this covered up the best I could, but some weather still got in there. Get this mounted to the frame, and so on and so forth. So let's get started on that, and get this thing set up so we can hopefully hear it make some noise today. That'd be fantastic. Well, before I get into this thing too far, probably the best bet would be I need to put this up here and then get the starter generator bracket figured out. But I do need to fix something on the frame that I did. It's kind of a dumb setup I did, but that was also a while ago, so let's see if I give myself a hernia. Oh, yep. Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. That actually wasn't as bad as picking one of those coolers up, so that was all right. Okay, let me show you. So right here is where the clutch pulley pivots and stuff. I'm going to cut this off and redo it. This I did a while ago with my old welder, and I didn't have the best power. I was at my grandparents' house, and let's just say that the wires weren't really big enough to handle some of the stuff I was trying to do in the garage. So we're gonna cut that off, because I'll need to figure out where I need to put that after I get the engine mounted. But for the engine, I've got to figure out how to mount the starter generator on this thing. I might have to actually pull the bottom off, because I think, I'll make sure, but I think I can reverse this, because right now this will sit right here. And that's going to be a pain in the butt to change the oil or even check it, because I'm going to have to put the gas tank and stuff. I'm going to have to tuck the gas tank and the battery up in here. So I'll think about that while the engine's out. But for now, let me get the starter generator out, get it over here. We'll take a look at it. But originally, before we get into that, so I got a nose piece here. Now, if anyone's a big Sears fanatic, that's the wrong color for this tractor. Some people might not care, but the 66 had a blue nose piece with a white hood and a white dash. My dumb butt, I tried to put my windshield's bright. I tried to put a Kohler Command V-twin in this at one time, which I managed to fit. I'll show you a picture right here. Well, to make it fit, I had to cut the hood and cut the nose piece, and I had no idea how to wire anything at the time. So it looked really cool. I couldn't get it to start. Couldn't figure out what the heck was wrong with it. So that engine ended up being a parts rig for my dad, which he needed anyway, so that works out. But long story short, I had to get a new hood, a new nose piece, because my old ones were pretty rough. Like half of it was gone. And I really didn't want, I want to make it look good. So that's why I picked these up off eBay a while ago. It's the correct hood and stuff. It might not be the exact year, but actually I lied to you. This is an SS12, and all I could find was an SS10 hood and nose cone. But at least it's got the headlights in it. All right, let's get to work on getting this out, just so I can knock that off the list. And then we will start working on that and then go from there. And just that easy. You can see how well those welds penetrated. I had one that actually stuck. The rest of them were there for looks apparently, and they weren't even that good to look at. But anyways, let me show you what my abnormally small cranium is trying to come up with. So I've got two holes here. I probably shouldn't. I don't know where these mount stock. I have no idea. This being out of an Alice, I'm assuming it was mounted a little bit lower. Did it say Alice? What did that say? Alice Chalmers. Yep. I'm thinking I'm going to mount this up a little bit higher, more in this general area. So like right about up in here. And then I'll figure out how to do the tensioner, which that shouldn't be that big a deal. But, yeah, right about ballpark there. So I'm going to have to make a bracket that goes into here, which I could probably use this chunk of angle iron too, but just do a piece of angle coming up and then something to come across with two little tabs. I know my hands aren't drawn very well, but you'll see when I get going on it. And then for the third piece, I'll figure out where I have this. I don't know if it's big enough. I don't know if I want to use that. But anyways, it's off that Cub Cadet 147. I can use that as a turnbuckle to tighten the belt up. Should hold. If it doesn't, then I guess it was a bad idea. But that can go up here, tighten the belt. Yep. I just got to make sure I'm doing it at the right angle, because you don't want to have it up too high, and then you got to have the right angle to where when you push out on the top, it'll tighten the belt up. I could probably take this off. I don't know if I want to or not. Probably won't hurt anything staying on there. But that's for the drive, for the outlets to drive off the flywheel side like a Cub Cadet. And this engine sat in this facing towards the rear axle. So, anyways, let's let me think here. Yeah, the main reason why I want to keep the starter generator up here, I'll learn how to talk one of these days. Starter generator up here is to try to keep as much space, try to keep this all a little bit tighter, because I have limited space. And I want to try to keep the hood in the stock spot, the nose piece in the stock spot. I don't care if I have to trim a little bit of the back of the tractor off, that's fine. But in theory, let me show you guys over here again. I'll figure out exactly how I want to go about this. This will probably end up being on the far side. But put the gas tank somehow tucked up in here. I might have to get a different gas tank because this thing is huge. All depends on where the engine sits. But you see, this had a tray. It's supposed to have a tray in there for a gas tank and a battery. But some guy built an engine stand for testing engines a while ago, and yeah, that's no longer here. Why do I do that? I don't know. But we'll make it work. So let me get this bracket built, and then get that hung up. We'll see how it works out. I don't know who I'm looking at. Well, while I'm waiting for paint to dry, I figured I'd drain the old crude out of this thing. Only because I do want to change this. I figured I'd just let her drip for a while. Let me show you what I came up with though. First off, we'll start here. I cleaned these holes up, ran a tap in there, make sure they're nice and good to go. And I put a piece of angle iron going this way. Well, the angle iron just cleared the shroud. So then I got looking for some steel, found another piece of angle iron. Let's continue over here. So this is currently upside down, but let me make sure the paint's, it's still a little tacky. That's okay. We'll flip this over. I still got to paint one side. I like painting stuff when I get it done, but this is literally how it's gonna sit on the tractor. This happened to work out just perfect. This is a piece of angle iron I had off my trailer project, and I just had to cut this off and literally move it over here. That's not perfectly straight, but that's okay because it sits in there good. But this goes to the block, and then that's where the starter generator bolts up, and it just sits there beautiful. So I'm gonna throw some paint on the inside. I like painting my stuff after I get it done, just because I don't have to take it all back apart and do it again. You know, do one thing at a time. But anyways, let's wander back in here. All right. So the way this sits, starter generator pulley sits whoop, right about here, which is good. It's up out of the way. I'll have to, like I said, I still need to figure out how I want to go do the top piece. That'll be easy now that I got this set up to where it can just bolt right up and sit there. I need to still figure out belt measurement, pick one up, and honestly, I could probably see how well this rolls over sitting right on the bench. Get a battery. I got a battery right there. I got cables over there. I can just tink. We'll see what it does. I don't think that'd be too hard. Obviously, I'll make sure I have more oil in it before I do that. But, yeah, that'll be pretty easy, I think. So, let me go throw some more paint on that thing. And then we'll let that dry. I got to run to the store to get some stuff anyways. I'm out of flapper wheels. Anyone that fabricates know flapper wheels are handy. So I'm gonna go get some more of those, let paint dry. When I get back, I'll mount it back up, get it set up, get the measurement for the belt, which I mean, I don't have to have the third arm on there yet to measure for the belt, because that's kind of you know, that's the whole point of having adjustment. So, all right, we'll get stuff done and be back. Yeah. Ow! Ow! Who put that there? Ow! Well, in the words of Bob Ross, this is a happy accident. Look at how that worked out, huh? This is a bracket off the hot rod. When I first got it, they had like a cross brace in there for the hood, because you know it's only made out of tin. Well, instead of putting an actual brace to an adjustable one, I was making sure the belt fit, which all the way up it was loose, and then as I brought it back, I'm like, well, where's it going to be tight at? And right here just went and sat there, and I'm like, okay. So I just had a slotted hole. I just drilled the hole bigger with a step bit, pulled the head bolt out, threw it on there, and put the head bolt back in. Head bolt. Good. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to make sure this thing actually spins. I got to see which side's which. And then we will see if we have spark. And if we have spark, we're going to see if this thing will bark off. But first I need to pull this off. I bought it's somewhere over. Anyways, I bought a longer nipple with a new cap that's hex style, so that way I can just thread it back in with a wrench instead of messing around with a pipe wrench or pliers. I'm gonna get that replaced. I'll put some oil in this thing, and then we'll hook a battery to it and see if it'll make some spinach. Well, that's a deep subject. All right, we got our contraption set up here. We got the battery hooked up, got it grounded there. Got my positive here with a little cover on it, because you know, can't, better be safe than sorry. All right, if all goes well, if I touch this positive on that stud right there, should rotate, and it should spin this way. Oh, it even sounds like it's got good compression. All right, let's see if we have any spark, because this is just going to be too much fun. You on there? Ugh. I feel like it wanted to click. Hopefully it's on there. All right. Let's see if it has a little bit of spark. That is a negatory. Okay. Cover you back up. Hey. Unhook the ground. There we go. Now we're safe. All right. Take the positive off. All right. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this should have points. I'm guessing right there. Let's get this cover pulled off and let's see how that looks. What's that doing? I don't know. All right. Alright, now if you've never seen anyone clean a set of points before, I'm guessing these are points. I really don't know. I never had this cover off, but I have a hunch that's what it is. Which, if it has points, I wonder if it needs to be a powered coil. I don't know. I've never messed with Briggs much. I play with a lot more Kohlers than anything, honestly. Yep. Oh, she got the condenser. Oh, my Lanta. Oh, those look horrendous. Can't you see? Here, let me bring you guys in here. She's a little rusty. Alright, so as you can see right here, this is your condenser. Here's the points. I'm going to go out on a limb and guess that there's not a whole lot of, contact there. Uh-oh. Alright, contacts are much cleaner now. I'm going to leave the cover off. I just want to make sure that we have... Whoops. Man, this tape is just disintegrating. But, uh-oh, that's loose. Oh, that's probably not helping either. Fantastic. Alright, well, I'll get the condenser fixed, get that situated. Then we'll see if we have spark. Okay. I got the wire for the condenser fixed. I have the points cleaned. I have the ground hooked up. Now we just got to touch the positive again. Everybody watch that, and we'll see if we have any spark now. Ready? Here we go. Oh no, we got spark. Oh boy. That's a good thing, even though I make it sound like a bad thing. Alright, so since I'm 3 years old and this thing has spark sitting on my bench, let's see if it'll fire. Yep. Here's my fancy dancy starting fluid stuff. It's just it's a mix of gas, rec fuel, and 2-stroke oil. Just my own homemade stuff. We'll give her a shot. She's pouring out, that's fine. We'll see if this thing will do anything. Try not to catch the bench on fire. Here we go. Oh my gosh, that thing started right now. Yes, this is gonna be a blast. All right, cool. Okay, I'm gonna get this cover put back on before I get in too much trouble. And it runs. Oh my gosh. Cool, we'll get this put in the tractor and see where it's gonna set, and we'll go from there. I love it, I love it. You know, engine runs, that's pretty cool. My bracket for my starter generator turned out pretty cool. But I forgot one very important whole part of this ordeal was I didn't want to have to butcher up the hood or anything. Yeah. I got a little excited. What can I say? But I mean, it's not going to be too hard to fix, I don't think. So yeah, you see how it sits right there. I just figured I'd put the hood or the grill on and the hood on. I'm like, I just want to make sure everything works. Well, first, before we shut the hood, this is the support for the hood, the nose cone. There is room in between here. I can see light. Barely. But I didn't think about that. So, I know this isn't all the way straight. What I'm going to end up doing, I'm just going to end up dropping this down. And what I'll probably end up cutting off the angle line on the bottom. And I'll bring the bracket down. I don't care if I gotta, I'm not worried about that. But I'm kind of bummed that I didn't think that through all the way. But on a happy note, let me show you some cool things about this that makes me feel a little bit better. Yep. Kind of look past this part. So one thing, besides the starter generator, everything looks nice and straight. I got the drive pulley on, and of course it's got a 75-foot output shaft. I'm using it all the way on the inside, but I have enough frame that I'll be able to get 4 bolts through the frame and hold it down. That's gonna be good. I know some of the old Sears, newer than this Sears, when they run the bigger engines, they end up having a tab cut out here and brought out for an engine mount because the engines are so big. I think that's mainly for the Onan opposed twins and stuff, but yep. I might even see before I get too excited, because this does look like it can go down a little farther. If I can drop it down a little bit as it sits and still have the belt tight, then that'd be cool. But I'll mess with that off camera just to get an idea of what's going on. Anyways, fuel tank. Oh, fuel tank. Oh, let me think. Do I got enough room there? Let's take a look. Oh, let's grab this thing and try it. That's loud. Oy. That's going to be a negative. Okay, no big deal. Put you back over here. Oy. Yep. That's a bummer. I'll figure a battery. Oh my gosh, fuel tank. I don't know why I can't talk today. But, oh, this looks better. Now I can just drain the oil that way. just like a Ford all over top of your everything. Just kidding. So before we'll fast track over here. I do want to get the lights working. It'd be awesome to have a tail light and a headlight and headlights. This is for the 3-point that it doesn't have. That'll come out. I'm not going to need that. Obviously, I still need to put oil in the rear end. I've got a list. I've got one thing done off the list so far, but throttle cable's going to be way too short, which is okay. I'll end up needing another one because this will have to go. Yep. I don't know if I can. Oh, I might be able to just, because the way these are, it's just crimped right there. I think I have another cable somewhere that's longer. We'll see. If not, I'll just get some cable stock and hook it up. But it's getting somewhere. I mean, a lot farther than what it was a couple hours ago. So get your finger out of the way. Sorry. So I'll work on that, getting that dropped down so I can shut the hood. And then we'll mount the engine. And then we'll go from there. I love projects like this though, because I mean, honestly, these things are built so cool. Oh, and here, random fact, let me grab a magnet. A while ago, I talked about garden tractor pulling and stuff like that. Anyways, these Sears garden tractors here are cast aluminum. Just to show it's steel. Aluminum. One thing about these, when it comes to garden tractor pulling, I'm not a light gentleman. My weight starts with a 3. But this tractor would be light enough that if I wanted to pull it, I could pull it in the lighter classes because they have aluminum dashes, aluminum nose cones. The heaviest part is, besides the driver, the engine, which that's a little bit bigger than the stock Tecumseh. Yep. All right, time to get to work on stuff. I'm sorry, I'm just excited. Don't pick on me. Well, would you just look at it? She's even latched. Not touching. It's so close. I still need to put, I only have the 2 bolts here. I need to figure something over here for a tensioner still. But it's there. I'm going to build a belt guard because I really don't, that needs to get covered up. I don't like that being exposed, but we're getting there. I got to double check the engine placement. I'm going to take the hood back off and the nose piece. Try not to move this. I've got the engine literally butted right up to the nose piece. And I'm going to see if I can get marks in there to bolt the engine down. Like I said, as long as it's where it needs to sit. I had it lined up and then I moved it around 75 times. So trying to put this back on. Anyways, it's there. That's one thing off the old list. So, yep, yep, yep. Just tell me to shut up and get to work. I'm sorry. Well, would you just look at it? Solid mounted, not going anywhere. As long as my lift doesn't fall down. Yeah, heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Hurt compression. Like wheel horses, these engines spin backwards, instead of spinning that way. I got looking a little bit. I actually managed to get this moved over more this way so I can fit this in between the dash and the frame thing here. But, which is good because I was a little worried about output shaft, the pulley being too close to the engine and the belt having to jog over, but now I've got all kinds of adjustment. One major thing I do want to do, I want to change this to a regular style rubber one. I don't know if I have one. I don't think I do. There's just enough clearance under the hood that this doesn't touch. And I don't want it arcing out on that or the brace. But there's enough room right now that it goes right past that without even getting close to it. So that's fantastic. Got to put the new carburetor on it. I don't have an air filter for that, but I need one. I will find one. I need to steal this out of it though. I need to order a new throttle cable and choke cable because they're both way too short. I thought I had extra cable around. I guess apparently I used it on something. I can't remember what. Go figure, right? It's been more than 10 minutes. Yep, she's bolted down. That makes me happy. I gotta clean this mess up. I'm gonna call her tonight. It's late. It's like dark out. So we'll pick up on this again tomorrow and try to get the wiring done, which is just a solenoid and the starter. I got to figure out how to shut these off. I got to see, because like on Kohler, you just shut the power off to the coil. This creates its own power and then it just grounds to fire. So I'm not sure exactly how the kill switch is supposed to work, unless there's something over here. I'll have to look, because if it's similar to that push start or that push mower that I had, you just throttle down and I had a ground out for it. I'll look. But if anybody knows these engines, somebody please tell me where to find numbers on this, because I always figured they were right here, which it looks like there's something there, but I can't tell. Whoever painted over this just completely Earl shibed the crap out of it. I don't see any numbers. I'm just curious what the horsepower is. I'd like to know. But, alright, I'm going to head to bed. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Well, I spent a few hours thinking last night. And I can use this throttle cable, because the throttle hookup is right down here. And this one should reach just fine. I don't know why I was thinking I had to go around the other way. I don't know. I did put a tire on it though. I swapped that tire out. I don't know if you saw the wheel on the other one. There was a hole about halfway around. It was junk, really bad. But anyways, here's what's going on. I got to order a choke cable. You got to order a couple electrical components. So for now, we got a lot accomplished. I'm happy with where we're sitting right now. Hopefully next week we will get a battery, a gas tank, get the carburetor swapped out, get some wiring done, and get this thing running sitting here. That'd be fantastic. Still need to get a dry belt, still need to put oil in the rear end, steering wheel. I just said that? I don't remember. But I want to thank everybody for watching. I love doing this stuff. If you like what you watched, don't forget to like and subscribe. But next week, hopefully, if all goes well, we'll have this thing moving, driving, and pulling itself out of the garage. That would be fantastic. But for now, you guys have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.